They know he's up there. They're gonna be together. They're gonna be together this time. My anxieties. Is his goal to kill?
You're such
I
a
knew
fucking
they're
pussy.
together. I
And
knew they're
you guys
together.
were over there.
I
You're
knew
just
they're
bouncing
together.
on it. You're just jumping and bouncing all over my juicy, voluptuous, erupting cum filled.
Okay. All right, buddy. He ain't get that descriptive. Let's watch this. I'm gonna like it already. Any views? Okay.
That three convicted.
Oh shit. It's kind of loud.
Is it a coincidence that three convicted pedophiles were working at the
All
largest children's television network during the peak of its success and popularity? What if I told you that there was also a convicted pedophile managing the children that were often cast on the network's shows?
All right.
What if
Let's start here. I know we're only 14 seconds in. If you're a convicted pedophile, aren't you literally like, no matter what, like any type of sex offender, aren't you literally not allowed near children? Like, 'cause I know I haven't seen this. Like, aren't you not allowed near children? 51 minutes. Didn't even see how long. Oh my god. Aren't you not allowed near children? Because I know there's like cases where they can't see their family if they have kids. It's illegal for you to work with kids in any capacity. Yeah, you can't even like live across the street or on the same area code of like a child, like of a school or some shit like that. So like them working in a field where is mostly children is odd activity.
if I told you that many of the underage girls were forced to kiss men over the age of 18 on
Who is this? Is it Amanda Bynes? I think that's Amanda Bynes. I never watched her show though.
if you found out that multiple of these young victims grew up and were caught performing inappropriate
And
sexual
who is this?
acts
I feel a
with
little bad for
children
Jake.
themselves, repeating
Jake?
cycles of
Drake.
abuse.
But
These aren't
like
rumors.
he did what
These
he
are
did, bro.
facts.
He had
When
to
you
take that
combine
L.
these facts with the realization that many of the jokes, physical comedy, outfits,
Okay.
and even random pieces of the set were sexual innuendos.
Okay.
At some point, you'd start to eliminate the possibility of this being a coincidence and
Okay.
start thinking this was all by design. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how a powerful network of executives separated child
Man, why
actors
are
from
they
their
face
families,
blurred?
had their actors depend on them for
I told you
emotional
Justice
support,
Genesis.
then abuse their
Nigga,
power
eyes
to
is red.
overwork these children, rake in billions in
Nah, she
profits,
cooking.
silence
She
anyone
cutting
who
up.
dared to speak out,
Nickelodeon
and then
didn't protect
bragged
me. My
about it in
bad.
front of the
You didn't
whole
cut up.
world. And
Yeah.
just like most organized crime operations, they typically funnel up to one top boss, the untouchable creator of this machine. Insert Dan Schneider, the man behind the camera, the esteemed Nickelodeon producer who created some of the most iconic children's television programs in history.
At the end of the day, I love it when the cast gets sassy with me because I get to write all the scripts with some very talented writers, but I can put them in any horrible predicament I choose.
Nigga, why
Schneider
would
is a
you
child
say
actor
that?
himself, most notable for his role as Dennis on Head of the Class. During this time, he and his co-star Brian
Who
Robbins
said that?
became great friends. The pair were later asked to co-host the second annual Kids' Choice Awards by a Nickelodeon producer called Albie Hecht. The three men struck a friendship and frequently discussed creating a project together. By 1993, Hecht had become a high-level executive at Nickelodeon and challenged Robbins to pitch him a children's television series that their new production
iCarly.
studio
No.
could pitch to Nickelodeon.
41-1.
At the time, Nickelodeon was not yet the powerhouse it
Amanda
would become.
Bynes.
The network
Which
struggled
one?
to become
I
profitable
don't
in the
know.
80s as they were
I don't know
losing
which one the
millions
first
of
one
dollars
was.
per year. One year, they were actually the lowest viewed network out of all U.S. cable channels.
Dead last?
Early 90s cartoons like Doug, Rugrats, and Ren and Stimpy were allowing the network to pick up higher viewership, but their live-action shows struggled. So Brian recruited Dan, and they came up with a sketch comedy show like Saturday Night Live, but for children, called
All
That.
That.
Dan wrote in his personal blog, "We did a nationwide talent search and got very lucky. Every kid we ended up hiring for the original All That cast turned out to be fantastic. Josh Server, Keenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell, Katrina
Who
Johnson,
are these
Lori
people?
Beth Denberg, Angelique Bates, and Alyssa Reyes." Dan recalled that the show didn't test well and that the network felt like kids wouldn't like a sketch comedy show, but they took a chance on him and the show immediately became a huge success for Nickelodeon as soon as it aired. All That would go on to have 10 seasons and become one of the most culturally significant teen Nickelodeon
2005? That's actually pretty impressive. What's that, like damn near? That's 11 years. That's actually pretty impressive.
shows of all time.
15. How
Imagine
short were the seasons? Or how long were they?
proud the
Damn.
executives were of Dan's performance.
I've
They
never
were
seen
finally
this.
getting the big break they needed, and Nickelodeon was coming closer to becoming a profitable network. The only thing that could ruin their momentum would be some sort of scandal or reports of child
Allegations.
abuse. And that's exactly what happened, according to Angelique Bates, who was only 12 years old when the abuse began.
Oh,
First,
brother.
today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy.
Okay, brother. Yeah, we don't care. Look at this guy. This guy right here. Yeah, he's a merchant. He sold me multiple times. Fucking, ooh, I know what you are. I know what you are, Anthony Edwards. I know what you are. Oh, is this her? Oh,
The NBA even more interesting.
To 1996, I was a series regular on Nickelodeon's All That. I was only 12 years old, and that's when my nightmare began. I was physically, mentally, emotionally abused in front of the producers and cast members, and sometimes they could even hear me yelling. But nothing was done to help me until approximately 1996 when CPS was called. And when CPS came, I was pressured by all the adults that were set
to say nothing, huh?
protect me to stay silent.
Okay.
I did, and I have. But I can no longer stay silent, and I won't. My name is Angelique Bates, and I am an adult survivor of child abuse, and this is my story.
That's
Angelique
tough.
is the first known survivor who has spoken up against Nickelodeon's corrupt practices.
When was
And her
that?
story is extremely important because it also
When did
highlights
she-
the
when did she
parents'
put
involvement
this?
in such
When did she drop
abuse.
that video?
Angelique recalls Nickelodeon producers being upset
Such a
that her
crazy
mom
picture,
was
I'm not gonna lie.
constantly supervising her.
They started having a bullseye for her was that she was one of the parents that was not going to leave me unattended on set because by law,
You need a
parents
parent.
are supposed to be there. So
Okay.
they didn't like that fact that she wouldn't leave me.
Some parents would leave
W
their kids
mom.
unsupervised while they work. They trusted the producers and did not want to interfere with their child's opportunity to build a career for themselves. Angelique's mother was not like that, and she even recalled a time where someone made a sexual advance towards her and her mother threatened to sue the network. Unfortunately, Angelique's
Ooh.
mother was also physically and emotionally abusive towards her,
Never-
so she wasn't
oh,
safe on
all
set
right.
or at home.
The double-edged sword with my mom. My mom's beating my ass, but then she's like protecting me from Nickelodeon all at the same time. Like she blocked all that. Like I said, the reason why they started hating her was because she was blocking me from that and because she was turning down sexual advances from them.
Angelique slowly received less and less work.
Just because you
due to
got
her
your
mother's
ass beat don't
involvement
mean
and
a
believed she was
lot, but
pigeonholed
I
by
mean,
Nickelodeon because she and
I understand, but
her
still,
mother could not
where are they? What is this tar?
controlled. And because no wrongdoings were ever officially reported, all that ratings
I've never
continued to
seen
soar.
this.
The series propelled the careers of cast members Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell, who
Okay,
starred in
see,
the first All That spinoff.
I
Kenan and
pointed-
Kel. The
okay,
show
I was gonna be
originally
like, yeah,
aired on
I know
Nickelodeon
them.
for 4 seasons from 1996 to 2001 and was equally as successful as
Look
All
at this
That,
ugly
winning
ass
the
set.
Favorite TV Show award at the 1998 Kids' Choice Awards. They also starred in the Nickelodeon cult classic
Good
film
Burger.
Good Burger. However, with Schneider in charge, not much changed behind the scenes. Taisha Hampton, ex-wife of Kel Mitchell, spoke out on suspicious behavior she experienced on Nickelodeon sets. Taisha was married to Mitchell from 1999 to 2005, but they
Yeah.
originally met on the set of Good Burger where she was casted as an extra. She too backs up the claims that parents were not around.
And these parents, like Kel's parents, were not with him. All these parents of the kids on the show, their parents were not.
I've never
with
actually watched that either,
Separate
but
the
I just know
children from
about
their
it.
parents.
I know they're making
That
a new
seems
one
to be
too.
a theme with Nickelodeon. There are two main reasons why they likely did this. Firstly, it seems like Nickelodeon was trying to take advantage of loose child labor laws in Florida, where the shows were filmed. According to the 1998 Florida Child Labor Code, minors aged 15 and under could work 40 hours per week as
So they
long
picked
as it
someone
was
over
during a
15?
holiday or summer vacation. 16 and 17-year-olds who graduated from high school or had their GED did not have to
Nigga,
abide by any
what?
work hour restrictions.
Bro, 16 or 17? Yo, nigga, what are we talking about? Okay,
A school superintendent could also issue a waiver of hours, and there is no law that specifically states a parent must supervise their kid while their child is working. However,
Okay.
regardless of what the code says, child labor experts say the laws were rarely enforced or penalized when there was a violation. In 1992, Jeffrey Newman of the National Child Labor Committee said that child labor today is at a point where violations are greater than at any point during the 1930s. One report
I
found
feel
that
like
the
I
average
don't
business
believe
could
that,
expect to
but
be inspected once every 50 years or so.
okay, maybe
Inspectors
not.
spend only about 5% of their time looking into child labor problems. Businesses across the entire nation were taking advantage of loose child labor laws in the 90s.
Isn't there a specific like department for that? Like, wait, unless they just said that. Like, wouldn't there be in a specific department that investigated child labor? Just like how CPS is a thing, or like for pedophiles, it's like a specific department for online people. Like, it's not a thing, or is that or what he's saying? The people who only inspect 5% of child labor problems is that department who's specifically supposed to like do child labor, like or investigate child labor. Are they just like not doing their jobs? Is that what I'm getting from it? Oh my god.
Businesses across
I'm
the
guessing,
entire
yeah.
nation
I'm guessing
were
they're just not
taking
doing their
advantage
job.
of loose child labor laws in the 90s. Do you think Nickelodeon was any different? Children are more susceptible to exploitation and abuse in the workplace due to their vulnerability and
Yeah.
lack of bargaining power. Think of how easy it would be for a TV producer to torment and gaslight a young actor if they weren't getting their lines right or performing to the producer's standards. But if their parents were there on set witnessing their child get scolded, they might cause a fuss. Producers want as little friction as possible, so it's not crazy to think that they probably cast talent with parents who stay out of their way. But once they do get the parents out of the way, what do they do with the kids?
Because we would get into clubs and
Clubs?
we were young, like 16, 17 years old, and we'd be in clubs. And the people on the set in Florida made us fake IDs. And so then I started thinking, I was like, wait, what? And then they were talking about orgies, and they were talking about like
Oh my god. Oh brother. Yeah. I think yo, I truly think I don't know if this is TOS. We need to bring back stoning. I'm just saying, me personally, I think we need to bring back stoning. And I feel like I'm gonna say that within the next like 40 between now to the next 40 whatever minutes that we need to bring back stoning. Some of these niggas, a ratio isn't enough. I need you actually in the dirt.
people on the set would show like pornos, and they'd give us
Kids?
alcohol.
Those were kids, like young kids on that set,
Yeah, these are grown 30-year-old men and women.
showing it to the kids. Cause
16, 17, 15, 14-year-old kids. But
That's
another one of the cast
disgusting.
members was
Damn.
like
12?
cleaning their
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
Dan
12.
Schneider's car with a bikini on. And now this time she had been 15, 16 years old. There were other times they would have like parties where the parents wouldn't be there, and they'd give us alcohol. And another one of the people on the cast.
Okay, so my question is, whenever they're going out these late night parties, what are they telling the parents for them to be like, my child is safe? Or I mean, I'm sure some just didn't give a fuck because they're using their kids to get into like powerful positions. But like as a reasonable adult, and like, okay, say you got blindsided by this, you generally just don't know that your kid's getting abused. What would a producer have to say to you that like that will make you feel okay for your child to be out late at night? Like sets? I feel like there's a time limit for sets. So I don't know if they would even say that. But I don't it's so odd.
Was giving blowjobs to the
Who?
one of the people on the cast was giving blowjobs to the producers.
wow, one of the kids.
And they were kids.
Tracy Brown,
Oh my
whose
God.
son, Brian Hearn, was cast on All That for season 7 and 8.
No,
tells a
I just got
similar story
whiplash.
from a
What the
mother's
fuck?
perspective.
Because there were many times on that set where they're like, hey,
I'm sorry.
Like
Brian
Miss
to
Ma'am.
a party. And I'm like, hey, just Brian? And they go, yes. And I'm like, no. And they don't
Cook 'em.
like moms that take control of their child. But
This low
I
FPS
heard
mom,
it.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
guess what? You don't need to like me. And they were like, well, bye-bye. And I was like, let's go. I was not going to do anything for the money. Like, y'all.
This shit's
know
hurting my
that.
eyes, but I understand
I'm
you.
that
W
woman.
mom.
I'm not going to do anything
W mom.
that might compromise my
She needs her
son's
son to help her
life.
with this
But
computer
many even
shit though.
suspect that the producer's
He was getting
perversion
cooked.
may
That
have
shit,
been
my eyes are
scripted
done
into
for.
the shows, starting with Kyra on Keenan and Kel, who was just 12 years old but was always trying to flirt and make sexual advances on the much older Kel. She would refer to him as her boyfriend despite him being obviously uninterested because she is a child. At the same time that Keenan and Kel were huge stars, one All That cast member emerged and became the most iconic Nickelodeon star of all time, Amanda Bynes.
Oh,
At just
there
10
it is.
years old,
Amanda
Amanda
Bynes.
stood out amongst her peers and showcased her comedic talents through various characters and sketches. As a preteen, she was maturely confident and comfortable on screen. According to
I know
Leon
she got
Frierson,
cooked.
who was cast on All That since season 1, Schneider
Whenever I see pictures and the eyes be red, I be like, damn, nigga, are we like monsters? Like, what's going on? Like, this glare is fucking us up.
showed clear favoritism for Bynes. We had to go to school on set. There would be times when Amanda would just be
Go to
missing,
school
he
on
recalled in the
set.
docuseries. A lot of times we would hear she would be with Dan, pitching ideas and writing. We see them grow closer to each other on set.
Ooh, I
He
don't like that.
continued. Amanda Bynes' parents were very hands-on in her career, specifically her dad.
Yo,
His
Hubs,
presence
you
was
know what this is like? This is the equivalent to it's like me watching this is the equivalent to watching a movie based on a tragedy that happened, like 9/11, and you know it's gonna happen. And you're like, wow, okay. It's just such a you kind of want to go through the screen and be like, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. This is literally how I feel right now. It's like seeing everything come together. It's like, yeah, okay, this is how it happened. It's such a weird like feeling right here.
was always felt. A big part of that was his relationship with Dan Schneider. Like we said before, hands-on parents
she's
were
getting
not wanted
cooked.
on Nickelodeon's set.
She's getting
unless they
cooked.
are bending to the interests of Dan Schneider. Despite the favoritism, Dan never
I hope
planned
he-
on giving Amanda her own show because he claims he never wanted to be on children's television. He initially created and helped produce a series called Guys Like Us for the United Paramount Network at their primetime 8 p.m. slot. Guys Like Us revolves around two young men, Sean Barker and Jared Harris. The pair are forced to look after Jared's 6-year-old brother Maestro, who comes to live with them after Jared's father accepts a job opportunity overseas.
Why don't you go wash your hands?
They're clean.
Well, then go wash your feet.
Dan's sitcom designed for adults was an utter failure as he was not funny
Is that
or
a
creative enough to keep
foreshadow?
adults entertained. It was canceled after one season due to abysmal ratings, so he shifted his focus
Yeah,
to
it doesn't
creating
look
a show
good.
around Amanda. The Amanda Show was a sketch comedy television program that had a very similar look, feel, and comedic style as All That and Keenan and Kel. Schneider struck gold again. The Amanda Show became the highest rated live-action television program
I've never
on
watched this
Nickelodeon
show,
during
actually.
its run. Amanda portrayed various characters that would become iconic, such
Judge
as
Judy?
Judge Trudy,
Quad dismissed. Bring in the dancing lobsters.
Crazy Courtney, and Amanda's obsessive fan, Penelope Taint.
My name is Penelope Taint. I'm Amanda's #1 fan, please.
And it took us 20 years to realize that her last name was a sexual innuendo. People
Oh, Tate. Oh, Taint. Wait.
and Penelope Taint.
Oh. Is taint like butt? Is that what it is? Penelope butt? Is that what it is? Is taint is that what is that the thing for taint? I don't know. I think it's
My
butt.
name is Penelope Taint. I'm Amanda's #1 fan, please.
And it took us 20 years to realize that her last name was a sexual innuendo.
I would say that's
People also
sexual. I think it's
that her
like saying that she's
catchphrase,
butt, but
Amanda Please was built off the phrase "a man to please," which would be such a deep,
That's-
detailed level of innuendo that it
I feel like that's a little bit of a reach. But I think that's such a hard ass. I think it's such an easy reach. It's a reach, but it's an easy ass reach. It's just there.
it's kind of hard to believe.
Because
However,
I don't think this man right here thought of that. But you know
As this
what?
video goes
He's pretty
on,
smart.
it just seems more and more possible. People today also believe that her sketch called Amanda's Jacuzzi may have been inappropriate since the whole concept was her as a 13-year-old interviewing mostly grown men in a hot tub. And of course, another foot joke.
Is it also true that you can put both of your feet inside your mouth at the same time?
I don't know. No.
Even Dan decided to jump in the jacuzzi with Amanda.
I've seen this. I've seen this. This is weird.
This is the executive producer of the Amanda Show, Dan Schneider.
Hi.
Executive producer of the show.
Yes, I'm the executive producer and the head writer.
People believe Dan was almost bragging by creating lightly sexual conduct into his kids' shows, like the Spitballer 5000, which was a phallic object that the kids had to blow into to launch a giant spitball at someone.
I mean, you
Behind
had to
the
do that
scenes
with a
footage
spitball
indicates that
anyway.
Dan and Amanda were very close, which is why
But
it
this
was
is
shocking
weird.
that one. Behind the scenes footage
Because, okay, this nigga's hand. Oh my God. This is what you do to a daughter. Literally anyone in your family. Or like, yeah, just anyone in your family. Or like a friend, maybe. Not, okay.
indicates that Dan and Amanda
Look at that
were very
rub.
close, which is why it
Ew.
was shocking that the Amanda Show abruptly ended in 2002, just 3
Ew.
years after it aired on Nickelodeon. In an interview with The Times, Bynes explained that she decided to leave for other
Didn't she get pregnant at
opportunities.
one
I was having
point?
fun, but
No, Zoe 101 who got pregnant, right? It was Zoe who got pregnant. I think she got pregnant. It was something like that. That's why that canceled.
at 15, you don't want to be doing what you did when you were 12. Schneider also commented on her exit with, I've seen kids in her position experiment with drugs and be too promiscuous, but Amanda has avoided all of that. My wife, who knows her, says she's almost like Marsha Brady in that
Who?
she's so clean cut and wholesome. This quote
With Tom Brady? Brady's wife or some shit? Not Marsha. Nigga, who? Is he still playing? He is. This nigga. Who is Marsha Brady? I spell it right? Who is this? This? Oh, the Brady Bunch. Oh, okay. My bad. My bad.
in that she's so clean cut and wholesome. This quote seems characteristically
I actually
odd for
never
Dan.
watched it,
Like
but
she was just
I
talking
know
about
about the Brady Bunch.
transitioning to more mature roles like her sitcom What I Like About You, and he had to bring up drugs and
She
sex
was in
for
that?
some reason. Many years later, cast members would come out and speak about how they perceived Amanda behind the scenes. Actress Chelsea Brummett, who
Oh, no,
co-starred on
Drake.
All That, recalled, she was closed off to everyone. You'd ask her a question and she'd give you a quick answer to end the conversation. She was always defiant with her dad, but she tried to hide things from her dad. She always seemed like she was trying to hide things. They would butt heads. This recountment does line up with the timeline of 2003 where Amanda sought to be emancipated from her parents at just 17 years old. In June of 2003, Amanda's agent, manager, and lawyer were all abruptly fired by her parents. The young star, now 17, was seeking legal emancipation from her parents, who were furious when they discovered that the reps had concealed this fact from them. Unfortunately, Amanda was not able to successfully get emancipated. During this rough patch in her life, Bynes reportedly leaned on Schneider and his wife, Lisa Lillian, for support. She was spending a lot of time with us, said Lillian, but she never left her family's house. This direct quote from Dan's wife is strong evidence that Dan and Amanda were close off set. Amanda has spoken out very strongly against her father and maybe at the time looked at Schneider as a replacement father.
You know
figure.
that
Dan
emancipated
also-
shit reminds me of? It reminds me of Britney Spears. Cause didn't she recently get emancipated from like her father or some shit? It was something like, ooh, or her family. Her family was like using her. It's actually kind of insane, but her family was like using her or some shit. And I don't know. They were just they were just cooking the shit out of
So
her.
recently recounted a night where Amanda
But she got
ran away
out.
from
But
home.
now she's still a little crazy.
It was very
But I
late,
feel like that's
well
just because
after
of
midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning. Phone rang.
you know.
I answered. It was Amanda. She was upset. She was in distress. She
Just
had some
experience.
conflicts with her parents. I think her father.
Who is
She called me.
this?
I was immediately.
They say
concerned
who it
about her
was?
safety.
I don't know.
called someone who I
I'm
knew was
here.
fairly nearby. That person was able to go and pick her up. Then I knew she was safe. I felt better. She ended up being taken to the police.
As much as people blame Dan
Nigga,
for
what?
the downfall of Amanda's career, or claim that he had suspicious involvement that's deeper and more inappropriate, throughout Amanda's whole life and numerous
That's
public
Amanda?
spirals, she never blamed or accused Dan Schneider of anything. All of her anger and horrible accusations were towards her biological father. However, the cloud of mystery and potentially...
That's Amanda Bynes. Oh yeah, that nigga Dan Snyder did a number on her. Oh my god, I feel so bad. Nose ring, piercing or whatever, septum ring, nigga. Heart on. Is that a tattooed heart on the left cheek? Blue eyebrows. She's
inappropriate
done
behavior
for.
surrounding Amanda, as well as her obviously broken family life, seemed to be a common gray area Dan found himself in with his stars. Over the
All right, top 10. Never mind.
years, some of the most prominent stars like Jamie
I
Lynn
would say
Spears,
top 10
Jeanette
fucking
McCurdy, and
top 10 fucking iCarly characters, but I feel like I couldn't even really name 10 of them myself.
Ariana Grande all had absent fathers. On one hand,
Give
you
me
could
my
blame their
favorite,
parents.
low key.
On another, you could look at Dan as a predatory
Not really.
opportunist, or
When
maybe
he got
it's a
naked, it
little
was
bit
kind of
of
weird.
both.
But like,
There
I
was a
really fuck with
real
his vibe.
convicted
Who
predator
is
who worked
this?
underneath Dan Schneider? Jason Handy, a production assistant who worked on all that in the Amanda Show, exchanged email addresses and phone numbers with parents and kids who thought he was a friendly and helpful presence on set. You thought, oh, I could be friends with this person, said MJ, the mother of a former actress on The Amanda Show, who was identified as Brandy. The mother was
Damn, just like
mortified when
Brandy.
she saw her 11-year-old daughter looking at a graphic email from Handy.
It was a picture of him
Dick?
naked, masturbating,
Hi, brother.
and he said he had sent it to her because he wanted her to see that he was thinking of her.
Her daughter left the entertainment industry after that email. Handy was arrested in April
Me personally, yeah, gotta shoot him. Actually, no, not yet. I feel like if they start touching, then you gotta shoot them. But like, I gotta drop you at least once because you're not exposing my child to some shit like that. You gotta fight me.
of 2003,
We have to
after
have a
law
lightsaber
enforcement
battle or
received
some
a
shit.
tip
I don't
about
know.
him. When the police investigated his home, they
Nigga has a computer called Predator.
found
This
over
nigga is outrageous.
1,700
This
images of
nigga
young
Patrick's
girls in erotic
outrageous.
poses, as well as 7 videos on CD files of children engaged in sexually explicit conduct.
What?
In Handy's personal diary, he wrote sentences like, "I am a pedophile full-blown." He added, "I have really been giving into my desire for little girls these past few weeks."
Okay. Guess that's the case closed. Imagine you're a lawyer, you get this in the evidence locker. In the evidence folder. You see this. Nigga, what can you say? I would just not take the case.
And then
I
he
mean, struggle
detailed
is-
his day-to-day struggle
Wait. Okay, hold on. He's about to read it.
on how he could find a
Wait, I even struggle on a day-to-day basis of how I can find a victim. Okay. And I feel like that's a word that starts with the R. Okay.
victim that he could sexually assault. In 2004, Handy was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
6? They got me hitting fucking Timbuktu. Why is this up? 6? Plead no contest. Wait, is no contest different from guilty? Because, nigga, you're just guilty. You admitted to it. Can we be for real?
After being convicted on 2 felony counts, one of lewd acts on a child and one of distributing sexually explicit material by email, as well as on a misdemeanor charge related to sexual exploitation of a child. Many of you are
Nigga.
probably thinking 6 years is not enough. And surprise, surprise, he got
California?
out and in 2014 committed 2 other felony sex offender violations with a child.
Kill
Allegedly,
him.
Handy's case prompted Nickelodeon to toughen its background checks for all employees, trying to prevent this from happening again. Yet somehow, this was not even close to the last time a pedophile would infiltrate Nickelodeon's network. Actor Drake Bell formed a bond with the dialogue coach Brian Peck during the 2nd season of The Amanda Show. Peck, who has no relation to Drake's co-star Josh
Okay.
Peck, would invite Drake to his house for
I've-
acting lessons.
I've actually seen scenes of the Netflix series about him talking about this, and it's actually insane. I actually want to watch it. I want to watch it. But it's actually so fucking insane. It's like it's just nuts. That's why I kind of feel bad for him, because it's like I feel like he wouldn't have been this type of person if he didn't go through that type of things. But you know, he did what he did. He has to take that L. But I don't see him insanely as a perpetrator. Knowing, I feel like there's a lot of like, okay, that's a crazy statement. I was thinking, I feel like that is a lot of people who commit these type of crimes that they, maybe not a lot. I feel like there's a good amount of people who commit this type of crimes who have been through something like this, and at that point, their brain is so cooked and so wired to the point where they think maybe it's either fine, or they're just so used to it that either, okay, I think either that they think it's fine, they're used to it, or they're trying to get a get back, like they're angry. They're angry that no one like, you know, cared about them, so they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it to someone else. And I would feel bad for them, because I'm like, damn, like you really got fucked over. You got hold. You could have had a normal life if someone didn't do it to that. Like, it's just kind of bad. It's kind of sad. I mean, we don't even know Dan Snyder's backstory, but honestly, I mean, do I care? I see. We just heard he had a good one. I mean, maybe, who knows? But still, he may get shot still.
These
Who
lessons
knows?
were supervised by Drake's father, Joe, who was told that Brian Peck was a skilled coach who would help Drake secure more acting opportunities. However, over time, Joe became uncomfortable with their relationship.
And unfortunately, I started seeing Brian start to just hang around Drake too much.
This is a real. I was actually want to say this. I was thinking Drake's dad looks like a like a casual. Is this racially motivated casual, like California Mexican? Like, he look okay, maybe not Mexican, but he looks so Californian. Like, I can't see him anywhere else than California. Nowhere else. Only place. Maybe other like southern, like Texas or motorcycle gang type shit. I can, like, his player build, his NBA 2K player build right here screams California, Southern California, and I just can't unsee it. Like, it's just there.
And it didn't set well with me. Drake would be in the dressing room or something, and in would pop Brian, and just touch Drake. You know, do things that, wait a second, what are you doing? Drake can put that on himself. And the thing is, this is in front of people.
Joe expressed his concerns with production personnel and said he was uncomfortable with Brian, only to be called homophobic because of Brian's sexual orientation. Therefore, Joe backed off.
Oh, he was gay. Okay. Yeah, I see why. I see why he was fucking with I mean, okay. All right, I guess. I mean, I don't know why that took me aback just now, when I already knew some of the details, and I could just assume that. I was gonna say something, and he might say it in this, but if we go past the Joss Peck arc, then I'm gonna say it. Because it was pretty like crazy. It was off of the Netflix.
Manipulated Drake into severing ties with his father/manager, suggesting that Joe was sabotaging Drake's career. Peck subsequently integrated himself into multiple areas of Belle's life and became a father figure for the young actor. Eventually, Peck convinces Drake's mother to let him stay at his house during auditions. These predators entice the children with fame and fortune, convince them that their parents
Leonardo?
are trying to hold them back.
Is that Leonardo DiCaprio? Or did I just gaslit myself? Is that Leonardo? I think it is Kid Leo. I don't know.
Isolate them and do who knows what behind closed doors.
I
It's
know it
likely
is.
that all the kids who made it out unscathed
Unless that's
were
him.
because of parents who stepped in and removed their child from the...
Wait, the parents of... we were all vulnerable.
Situation.
I guess, but I feel like there was a lot of shitty parents who just didn't give a fuck. Like, I feel like there's shitty parents who didn't care. I feel like they knew that there was some abuse happening on the set and they didn't care, but maybe not to this magnitude, but they still allowed things to happen. That's what I think.
Before it was too late.
That makes
However,
sense.
the more popular the actor was, such as Drake Bell, the more difficult it became to remove them from the industry. Sadly, with Brian Peck and Drake Bell, we do know what happened behind closed doors. When Drake slept on Brian's couch,
Okay,
the sexual
you'll say it,
assault
yeah.
began.
I was sleeping on the couch where I would usually sleep, and I woke up to him. I just opened my eyes. I woke up, and he was sexually assaulting me. Why don't you think of the worst stuff that someone can do to somebody as a sexual assault, and that'll answer your question.
Drake wouldn't tell anyone for several months. The abuse persisted.
He is gonna go into it. I'm glad, because this was crazy.
One day, when he was supposed to meet with Brian, Drake said he did not want to hang out. Brian then started calling his phone nonstop. When Drake failed to answer, Brian obsessively started calling his girlfriend's house, which is when the girlfriend's mother suspected something was wrong.
And the girlfriend mother is a fucking goat, because I think Drake's mother was like Drake's dad was like concerned and shit like that, but the mom was not as like concerned. Like, she didn't really care too much. Okay, I might be gaslighting, I might be lying, but that's like, you know, the way granted, I haven't watched it, but I've seen that part of Drake. And a lot of people were talking about how like Drake's mom didn't really do anything to step up, but his girlfriend's mom was like on demon time. She was like, hey, like, why are you calling his phone? Like is this not peculiar to you? Is this not weird to you? You're weird right now, buddy. And she was cooking him. She was low-key cooking his shit. So W girlfriend mom, W mother, bro. She was really on the clutch. She was really on clutch time. It was 3 seconds on the clock. She got the ball and she made she made a banger 3 to win the game.
Wrong, and took Drake to her family therapist. He later detailed the abuse to his own mother, who called the police. I had to be excruciatingly detailed about every single thing and time that it had happened with 2 absolute strangers. The worst part was I had to make a phone call to Brian and get him to admit to what he'd done. The police monitored a wired phone call with Brian, who broke into a full-on confession that led to his arrest. The investigation was conducted privately, and Bell remained unidentified to the public for several years due to his age at that time. Drake did tell Dan Schneider about this situation right before the
Oh, isn't this the nigga from iCarly with the tacos? Tacos on a stick?
trial.
And when Drake and I talked, and
That might be
told me
racially motivated.
What had happened, I was.
He
more
looks like him, though.
devastated
He had
by
dreads,
that than
too.
Anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far, and I told him, "I'm here for you. What do you need?" But Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to.
Okay, maybe I was gaslit online. Maybe Drake's mom is a good person. I just spread misinformation. Hey, maybe she is. But I was just saying that's what I read.
Me at the time, and she said, "Dan, I'm not good with words like you are, and would you help me with my speech for the judge?" And I said, "Of course," and I did.
During Brian Peck's
That's so
trial,
sad.
numerous prominent figures in the entertainment industry wrote letters of support vouching for his character, including James Marsden, Taron Killam, Growing Pains star Alan Thicke,
For
Boy Meets
Peck?
World actors Will Friedle and Ryder Strong, among others. Some of these figures, including Friedle and Strong, have since expressed their regret over writing the letters and stated that they were manipulated by Peck's misinformation. Brian Peck was convicted of child molestation in 2004, pleading no contest to a charge of oral copulation with a minor under 16 and a
That's an insane word. Oral copulation with a minor. So that's just an insane like set of words.
charge of performing a lewd act with a 14 or 15-year-old. He spent only 16 months in prison and was mandated to register as a sex offender. And if you are surprised at that abysmally low sentencing, Peck got out and secured a job working.
Oh, let's be for real. Let's be so fucking serious for once. What are we talking about? Are we serious? Yo, I fucking hate this lore. Oh my god, I fucking hate this lore. Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? Nigga, it's the worst
He
lore
then
drop.
The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody in 2006, where he voiced London Tipton's talking mirror for 3 episodes. The Disney Channel hired a registered sex offender. Despite these horrible...
I thought he did a lot more. I was like, oh, that's all he did? But still, he shouldn't, like, I guess he could have voiced lines in jail, I guess. Look at Miranda. She's so fucking young. She get dropped. Oh, God.
circumstances, Drake remained in the industry and would go on to star alongside Josh Peck in their legendary buddy comedy, Drake and Josh, which again caused the network's ratings to explode to new heights. The series premiere was watched by 3.2 million viewers, the network's highest rated series premiere in nearly 10 years. Drake and Josh episodes regularly saw viewership upwards of 5, 6, 7 million. As of 2006, the show ranked consistently among the 10 most watched cable shows across all of television, and you could just add Zoe 101 to the list of Dan's dominant programs, which saw an average of 3 million viewers per episode. It was on the set of Zoe 101 where even more photos emerged of Dan getting a little too comfortable with the cast, particularly Aaron Sanders, who was merely a child being held and coddled on Dan's lap. You can also see this photo where Dan's hand is resting on the child's lower back. Zoe 101 also had 34 different kissing scenes across its 4 seasons. While this may not seem that strange for a teen drama show, it did often lead to underage female actresses kissing over 18-year-old males. Brando Eaton was 20 years old and Victoria Justice was 14. Victoria at this time also had to kiss Jaron Vosberg, who was 18, was 14. Victoria at this time also had to kiss years old and Victoria Justice was 14. Victoria at this time also had to kiss Jaron Vosberg,
my brain is fried.
This 12-year-old Jamie Lynn Spears had to kiss 22-year-old Justin Timberlake on the set of All That. Jamie Lynn Spears had to kiss 22-year-old Justin...
Okay, I'll say I don't think the kiss on the cheek. Okay, I don't know what she's kissing, but if it's on the cheek, I truly don't even think it's that bad. Like, people kiss, I guess, because it's kind of weird as a set. I'm thinking more of like a friendly family type environment. Like there's cultures who do kiss on cheeks as a friendly gesture. Like, it's not like meant to be like that. So I just don't know too much about the kiss on the cheek. I guess because it's like a lot of older people and like obviously they're strangers, and also because the person who's doing it is a fucking weirdo. So I would say, yeah, that is kind of weird. But I don't know. Something about kissing the cheek, it doesn't like move mountains for me. Like kissing the lips with Victoria Justice, I was like, okay, damn, nigga, calm down. Nigga, rev it up then. Let it rip. Fuck, god damn, we don't care. Like that, kissing on the lips is motorcycle gang. That's just for you. Kissing on the lips is like where it's weird.
Timberlake on the set of All That, and Justin dated Britney Spears, which is Jamie's sister, 3 years earlier. Also, this Zoe 101 scene resurfaced recently, and many believe it to be a sexual innuendo. Spears' co-star Alexa Nikolas recalled Dan making a crew member squirt the syringe of goo at Spears over and over again. It's also important to remember that all of the information that you now know from this video was totally unknown by the public at the time. All the allegations and predatory behavior was all silenced before.
I don't know why I said okay, like I didn't
fucking
fucking
media
know
outlets
that.
were reporting on why pedophiles were allowed to work on set. Survivors were scared to speak their truth, and even reporting on why all silenced before they could ever reach headlines.
I just need to know this.
Barely any media outlets were reporting on why pedophiles were allowed to work on set. Survivors were scared to speak their truth, and even if they wanted to, they would have to go through a publicist or rely on a potentially corrupt media outlet to tell their story the right way. All anyone saw was the final product on television, so we assumed everything was consensual and safe and approved by people who had the best interests of the children in mind. Even if the network was suspicious of Dan and his production staff, which they weren't, they were going to do anything and everything to protect his reputation because Nickelodeon was red hot. At this point,
they're making money.
One network in viewers aged
they couldn't let that go. Money
they
makes
were raking in
niggas,
millions of viewers and billions of dollars. Dan
so
had
stupid.
more power than ever and was about to unleash all of his sick.
Hey, but you know what? Put up multiple racks. A Dan Schneider execution video. I'm just saying.
Fantasies through iCarly. The basic premise of iCarly was
Damn,
that
we
Carly
here.
Shay, played by previous Drake and Josh co-star
I know a
Miranda
lot of peak
Cosgrove,
shit
and her
happens in
friends
this.
Sam and Freddie,
Beating
played
naked,
by Jeanette McCurdy and
like
Nathan
naked
Kress,
shit.
produce a web show from Carly's older brother's apartment. The show resonated with the real-world rise of online content creation and the growing influence of social media platforms like YouTube during the 2000s. The show within a show encouraged fan interaction by incorporating segments that invited viewers to participate in the show's interactive elements. Additionally, the characters often responded to fan mail and viewer.
Yo, what is his webcam? Is this CGI? Hubs, is this CGI? This is not real. Like, this isn't like a real screen. Am I being gaslit? This isn't real. Like, what device would this be? This
Or
is real.
submissions on their web show, further blurring the lines between.
Oh, is this the one where she screams and breaks a fucking
fiction and
glass?
reality. Like, take a look at this time they called a
Yeah.
12-year-old fan.
Do you have any questions for Sydney?
I follow your Twitter.
How old are you?
I'm 12.
No way, I just turned 16.
You're 12?
Yes.
I'm like a little over double that.
Yeah, Jerry's all old. What do you like about iCarly?
I love it. It's really funny.
Anything else you want to know about iCarly or any questions or anything?
No.
No, you're all set?
Nope.
Thank you.
I know what I know.
Would you like us to get on a plane and come to your house?
Yes.
What? Whoa, my brain got cooked. Whoa, my brain got cooked. My brain got cooked. There's a lot going on. Okay. On her end, she called iCarly and she doesn't want to know shit about iCarly. That's actually insane. Like, damn, nigga, you said I love you. Wait.
Anything else you want to know about iCarly or any questions or anything?
No.
Like, damn, you don't want to know shit about it. But is this Dan Schneider in the background? Is that who we say was? Is this Mr. Schneider in the background? And is he saying, do you want me to?
Well, that's not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Would you like us to get on a plane and come to your house?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's not going to happen.
This nigga was like, that's insane. That
Okay.
nigga's brain
Dan
power,
himself
so
often
that's
communicated
insane.
directly with fans on his blog, danwarp.blogspot.com, where he gave behind-the-scenes information and did Q&As. He also started giving tons of behind-the-scenes clips to his Dan Warp YouTube channel, giving us insight on the cast's uncomfortability around him.
What? It wouldn't be a video from iCarly if I didn't do this to you. I don't know. Oh, yeah. What are you doing?
I don't know.
What's going on? What are you wearing today? Who did your outfit?
I did my outfit.
I've had too much caffeine.
Don't do anything with this footage. Please, it's so lame.
Did you know that the average adult American male has 18 hairs on each of his toes?
This is what happens when
How would you know that? Hold on. I don't really got hair on my toes. My average? I probably do, but it's probably like very low. Like, I feel like it's. How would he know that? I feel like that's wrong too. Like, are we talking about long strands of hair? What are we talking about? I'm just not flexible. Hold up. I'm about to beat my ass up.
Seriously.
That's a weird fact. Where did he get that? Where did he get that from? Wait, what?
Yeah, seriously. Let us go home, Dan.
We would be home if you had gotten some of your lines right earlier in the day, right? Am I right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's embarrassed now? Who's embarrassed? No. What are you doing?
I'm scared.
Jeanette. Susie May Page wants to know. Yeah, if you could fill a pool with get out of here.
Sorry.
Wants to know if you could fill a pool with anything you like and swim in it. What would it be and why?
Confetti, because it's a celebration in the pool.
Okay, that makes no sense.
Okay.
Miranda.
That does.
What? I didn't ask the question.
Oh, sorry. Well, I heard. I was thinking this whole time.
Okay, the question is, if you wanted me to hit you with a bottle of something, what would it be? Pineapple juice? Okay, here comes. This is why I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah, eat your cereal, kids.
All right, weirdo. I mean, it's kissing cheek.
If necessary.
What?
Did she say nice things about me? Because I will tase her if necessary.
Uh-oh.
I have the taser. We haven't had to use it in a long time.
I said lots of nice things.
No, I said nice things about you too.
Oh.
it's so insane because I feel like I would make some of these jokes. Am I weird? Like, if I was a producer on the set, and I feel like I would have to, like, they would have to know that I'm joking to the fullest extent. They would have to know that. And I just truly, like, I would make that joke. Maybe the taser joke. I probably would make that. Like, I threaten niggas with pipe bombs in their mailboxes. But I feel like we're in a new age, so it probably was like weird back then.
That's gonna get on TV. That's gonna get on TV.
In these
Look,
clips,
he's a
we get a
what?
glimpse of Dan's unpredictability. I mean, just look at how Miranda steps away from Dan as he proceeds to make his way around her back, and then hugs her from behind as she stands awkwardly still.
Chokehold is
As you can see,
nuts.
while Dan is shoving a camera in these actors' faces, they're often confused. Is he joking? Is he angry? Is he creepy? Is he going to touch them or grab them? They look extremely uncertain around him as he talks to them like a classic jester. But iCarly was a massive success for the network throughout its 6 seasons from
Same episode?
Touch Them
No, it's not.
2012. The pilot episode debuted on Nickelodeon to an audience of 4.1 million, followed by the second episode on the same day with 3.9 million viewers. The show was nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program 5
Gibby.
times, and averaged 4.6 million viewers throughout its time on Nickelodeon. Somehow, Dan managed to outdo Drake and Josh. But looking back on the show, many of the jokes and innuendos were more blatant than we remember.
3.2 seconds.
Yeah! That's the longest it's ever taken you to beat me.
Or how about the
Okay. I don't think, because the only other way I can think of him expressing the fact that he survived her was that's the longest I've ever lasted. And I think that is much worse. So like, I guess, but like, I don't think that was that bad. Yeah, but like
the
altogether
sack,
it's
which was
crazy.
Dan making fun of the Snuggie.
You're just sitting on your couch, trying to polish your bowling ball, but your blanket keeps flying off your body.
Oh, my blanket keeps flying off my body.
Like, are we reading into it too much, or is polishing your ball while advertising the sack not strategic? They mentioned that the sack comes in 4 different colors.
The sack comes in rash red, mucus green, pus yellow, or blue.
His shows are always displaying
Blues are
close-ups
regular.
of feet and putting cast members in predicaments where they have to touch each other's feet. Nobody thinks feet are this funny, especially not for them to be such a recurring bit in a television show. Many have pointed out that the Nickelodeon logo at one point was a foot, suggesting that Dan's influence was so strong he got them to change their logo momentarily to his fetish. I even found something on his blog that was particularly interesting. He had a segment called Fun Facts on his blog where he would go through an iCarly script and talk about tiny little details and why they matter. Like this one where he refers to Sam's necklace and how it's made of the same plastic that the antique radios that he collects are made out of. I mention this because it proves that there are no coincidences with what you see on screen. No matter how small or insignificant it may seem, Dan put it there on purpose. In this same episode, which is called I Date a Bad Boy, Dan says, scenes begin with Carly and Sam cutting a boy's hair. We see the first of 2 penny teas in this 1-hour episode. This one on Sam says, noodle booty. What does noodle booty mean? Why did Dan specifically point out her shirt and want us to know what it says? In another blog post, he specifically points out one of his intentionally
I'm so locked in
inappropriate
right now. Hold
jokes.
on.
One where he wrote a joke where an adult woman sexualizes 17-year-old Nathan Kress. Dan writes, on the first few takes when Jane said her line, hey, those pants fit you real good, she was looking at the front of his pants. I had the director step in quietly and tell her that, because this is for Nickelodeon, we'd prefer she look at the back of his pants on that line. Winky face. I guess Dan thinks that complimenting a young boy's butt is somehow more appropriate. Additionally, take a look at this 2010 blog post where he discusses adults who watch iCarly. He writes, "There are around 150 people who work on iCarly, and none of us approach it like we're making a kids show. We make iCarly no differently than if we were writing and producing a primetime half-hour comedy for NBC,
Okay.
CBS,
Well,
or
that's,
any one of the major broadcast networks."
not
This
good.
statement directly contradicts what he said while addressing the Quiet on Set documentary.
Some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
Every one of those jokes.
Who is it? Is this Dan Schneider? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Hold on. Wait, wait, okay. I might cook my head. Why did he say
Major broadcast networks. This statement directly contradicts what he said while addressing the Quiet on.
Yeah, like he's saying it like, okay. Is it... Oh, that is him. Oh, that is him. I thought this was just a random nigga because he was crying in the other one. He was crying with Drake's shit. What? Yo, nigga. Yo, the plot is crazy. Yo, what is this lore? Is what he looks like? Damn, I didn't even know.
Documentary.
Some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
Every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny and only funny.
So Dan, are the jokes for adults, like you said 10 years ago on your blog, or are they for kids, like you just said recently when the pressure is at an all-time high? It was also during iCarly when 47-year-old Martin Weiss, who managed dozens of child actors, was formally charged with sexually abusing a former client. The victim told police that he had sex with Weiss 30 to 40 times about 6 years ago.
Ooh, nigga.
And the abuse ended when he turned 15 years old. But
that's it, cutoff age, 15? Nigga, let's be serious.
Weiss denied that it was grape because the 15-year-old boy showed interest. But the boy said that Martin convinced him that this was common in the industry and denying him would ruin his career. Yet again, a pedophile.
Let us be serious for once. Are we like... No, I was about to say something crazy.
And nothing changed. Still, Dan was absolutely dominating. He likely had unimaginable power at the network. Whatever he said goes. But he may have gotten a little too comfortable, maybe even cocky, because his next two shows, Victorious and Sam and Cat, would start to get him in a lot of trouble. Schneider was challenged with writing a competitor to Disney Channel's Hannah Montana. Zoe 101 had recently ended, and Dan knew that featured actress Victoria Justice had star power. If there is anything I've learned about kids today, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, it's that they all want to be stars. This direct quote from Dan potentially backs up accusations that he uses these teenagers' desires for stardom to manipulate them. Ironically, the plot of Victorious is about a girl who attends a performing arts school and aspires to be a famous singer. In 2010, iCarly and Victorious were the top 2 live-action shows on Nickelodeon, helping Nick maintain its 16-year status as the #1 network on all of cable. Victorious aired from 2010 to 2013 through 4 seasons, winning Favorite TV Show at the 2012 and 2013 Kids' Choice Awards.
I'm not gonna lie. Wait, how old is this Jade? Which one?
Seasons, winning Favorite TV Show at the 2012 and
2012. (2012). Hey, this Jade right here, she fun as shit.
13 Kids' Choice.
I just had to make sure. He's still playing? I just had to make sure. Let me get some of this. I just had to make sure.
Beating out iCarly, as well as receiving 4.
I just had to make sure.
To the
I just
surprise
had to
of no
make
one,
sure.
Dan created another iconic children's TV show, but at what cost? Before the show premiered, Nickelodeon Productions partnered with the Columbia Epic label group of Sony Music Entertainment to co-produce the series to develop talent and release their music. Ariana Grande famously got her big break on Victorious. She was the perfect addition to the show due to her amazing singing capabilities, but her role on the show was the airheaded girl who says literally anything that is on her mind, perfect for Dan to take advantage of and insert more innuendo.
It's such an awkward ass fucking smile. Like, she doesn't want to actually be here. Like he's so giddy. Look at this. Look at his crusty. Look at that. She does not want to be here. She, like, ooh.
Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato. Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down? I'm thirsty. It's not possible.
It is possible. You gotta be careful. But I know what's happening.
This clip of Dan and the Victorious cast behind the scenes has been dissected.
I think
many
I've seen
times
this.
over the years, where Ariana and Elizabeth's cast behind the scenes has been dissected many times over the years, where Ariana and Elizabeth Gillis seem visibly uncomfortable due to Dan's presence.
That was one of the better things I've ever heard.
Hey!
Hi, what's going on here?
Nothing. Cut out that part.
Why are you sitting on the floor of the set?
Because we are.
Ariana is constantly looking around, covering up her body as Dan towered over her. Many in the comments
Look
were
at that.
constantly
Look at that. She covered up like
covering
her
up her
chest
body as
with her hair. Ooh, yo, Dan. Ooh, I know what you are.
Dan towered over her. Many in the comments speculate that Liz started causing distractions so that Dan...
You see, okay, hold on, let's read it. Liz seems so pissed off after Dan appeared with the camera. Ariana seems so uncomfortable. Also, who is Avon and Eric? Is that the I don't know what characters they are. There's probably like real names. Never mind. I say characters. They already said characters. Okay, I'm so dumb. It's probably their real names. Seem to be aware that something is going on when they try to distract them like this. Geez, the showbiz is really gross. Yes, it is. 3 years ago. Oh my God, did you see Liz's face? The pure terror she had on her face when she looked at the camera. Notice how as soon as Dan Schneider appears with his camera, Liz adjusts. Yep, I saw that. I peeped game. Adjust Ariana's skirt because she knew how much of a creep Dan was or is. We stand a protective queen. I wish I had a fucking it's like Agent does.
wouldn't do whatever they seem to be afraid of. However, Liz Gillis actually ended up marrying a Nickelodeon producer that she met on the set of Victorious. Michael Corcoran is a very close friend to Dan Schneider. He wrote the theme songs for iCarly and Victorious. Liz and Michael began dating in 2012 when she was 18 and he was 40. They did meet on...
Wowzers. I mean, legal, but it's still a wowzers moment. Because that nigga was lurking. He had to have been.
Set before she was 18, which leads many to believe that she was groomed, but they are still together to this day. According to Jeanette McCurdy, Schneider regularly compared the iCarly cast to that of Victorious. The Victorious kids get drunk together.
Oh, and you know what? Okay. I'm sorry, I got whiplash off of that sentence. But then I remembered earlier they were talking about how the kids were going to clubs and orgies, which is, oh my God. Okay. I was going to say that off of this line.
He was groomed, but they are still together to this day. According to Jeanette McCurdy, Schneider regularly compared the iCarly cast to that of Victorious.
Is that why there were multiple instances where they're like, I guess, universes. They made like a universe, I guess. They kind of interacted because The one time Victorious or Victoria Justice, is that her name? Victorious Justice, Victoria Justice. I'm fucking up. Sorry. It was the boxing match it was the iCarly boxing one, and she was a whole different character. And then they came back, and she was obviously the same person, but different character. And I always thought, I was like, damn, why the the universe fucked up. Like, she doesn't say, damn, you look at the other girl I boxed. She probably did actually, but is that why they're usually pitted against each other? And I think it was only 2 times they were like interacting. They interacted, but that would make sense. That makes sense. They were pitted against each other, so like once or twice. So like it's kind of.
The Victoria's kids get drunk.
I
together
I
all
just
the
want to bring
time.
that up.
The iCarly kids are so
Drunk all the
wholesome.
time is
We
crazy.
Need to give you guys a little
Wait, what?
edge, Schneider said, according to McCurdy. Now, supplying minors with alcohol is a major
Legal!
accusation. There is
Legal!
definitely a lot of online evidence showing that the Victoria's cast were very close, often mingling and hanging out after hours. But whether or not they are drunk is impossible to determine. However,
No, have you seen? I don't know if this is the handiwork of Dan Schneider or something, but it's like I don't know what to make of it. Is it Riz? Is it something? But is this nigga Rob like rizzing up her and Ariana? I think kissed one of them, and I was like, and it seemed like they. It's such a weird video. I wouldn't say it seemed like they wanted. It seemed something. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe they didn't kiss, but it was like him rizzing them up in a way. I swear someone kissed in that video. I don't even know how old they were. Now thinking about it, I don't even know how old they were. It's actually insane. They were probably drunk because I won't say that like it was her or Ariana. It was both, but I don't know which one he kissed. I won't say that she wanted it, but like they kind of went into it, but it seems so weird because it's like, why am I watching this? Why am I seeing this? And part of me thinks now that they were drunk as fuck when they did that video.
And hanging out after hours, but whether
That's
or
what
not
I'm thinking
they are
now.
drunk is impossible to determine. However, the actor who portrayed Beck on Victorious may have
Beck?
confirmed McCurdy's statements on a TikTok that read, "When you don't remember the plotline to a single Victorious episode, but you remember going out partying every night." Daniela Monet, who played the lead's older sister,
I thought she
Trina
was
Vega,
fine.
told Insider that some of
How
the
old was she?
actors' outfits on the show were not age appropriate, and that she wouldn't even wear some of that today as an adult. Daniela also recalled a time when she contacted Nickelodeon about a Victorious scene where she ate a pickle while applying lip gloss. She expressed
Nigga, how do you do that? What?
concern to the network that it was too sexual to air, but Nickelodeon aired it anyway. And in case you were wondering if Dan ever slowed down on his foot content, no, he actually ramped it up.
There we go.
Waste of Heinz. Is that what it is, Heinz? This is a waste of ketchup.
How about two
In the
girls
toenails or
fighting over a
something.
guy's foot while he sings a song?
Wow, they're really soft. Nurses, feel these kids' feet.
But it was around 2012 and 2013 when people online finally started to question what was going on at Nickelodeon. I believe it was due to Amanda Bynes' very public downward spiral. It was around this
Hook
time she
'em,
had
hook
headlines
'em,
for her
Amanda.
first DUI, assaulting a member of the paparazzi, being seen in public looking disheveled and distraught. Then she was evicted from her New York City apartment, and she got some strange
never mind,
dimple
I'm sorry.
piercings and even posted lewd photos that were not very flattering. In
Sorry,
short,
Amanda.
people were saying that she was going crazy, and naturally they started
That's
to
what it
question
said
the children's
about-
television industry that she grew up in.
Yep.
An infamous blind item appeared on the Crazy Days and Nights blog of someone trying to warn the public about Dan. He's a monster, the worst predator alive. And if you wonder why nobody will
I don't think so. I truly think there are worse niggas out there. I'm sure there are people. I actually think Jeffrey Dahmer is a lot worse than him. But I understand what you mean. I think he's a little bit below someone who would murder someone in that manner. But he is one of the worst. I would say one of the worst. I think he's definitely in the modern age. Shit, I don't even know. There's a lot of predators out there. Niggas are weird. Yeah, one of the worst, yeah.
Confront or charge him, he's in charge of multiple hit shows for Nick, which rakes in oceans of money. What about the parents? No tweener parent who shoved their kid into the limelight from birth is going to cross him either and risk career suicide and loss of revenue, no matter how bad it F's up their
Exactly.
kids. It was also around this time that a Redditor alleged that Dan offered them $100 to tickle their feet while on set of one of his shows. Now, none of these claims were backed by any real or substantial evidence, but it did get people talking. Media outlets finally began speaking out, questioning the intentions of children's TV, specifically pointing to the sexual nature of Victoria's. Those designer threads often have an adult sexiness that unsuccessfully straddles the line between tasteful and trampy. While guys are allowed to be quirky and weird-looking, girls are uniformly cast from the same Bratz doll mold. Meanwhile, you had Dan posting things on his blog like, "But what Kat does in this scene is a special variation of the spit take, where the liquid just falls out of her mouth. Yes, this is what I do for a living. I analyze the various kinds of spit takes. Not a bad job." Smiley face. After this quote from Dan, we now know that
smiley
his
faces
photo,
he
which
got?
is on
What?
the official Zoe 101 IMD page, showing Victoria Justice with spit falling out of her mouth, is probably his creation. You also had people in the early 2010s analyzing his old tweets, ones where he
Look, his name is Schneider Bakery. Yo, I'm not gonna go on Twitter on my fucking shit. If we look that up right now on Twitter, it's probably deactivated. I just kind of just interested. At Dan War. No fucking way. No fucking way this nigga shit is still up. This nigga still has why does Elizabeth Giles still follow him? Now, why didn't she follow me? Does she not know? She may. Let me stop. This is a weird. Goddamn. Wait. Media. Yeah, it's the same thing. 2009 March. Yeah. He actually lost followers, I would assume, but like he didn't lose much. He only got to 657.3K. That's what he has right now. That's insane. Like his last thing that he posted was before like this year was in 2019 of Matt Bennett, Elizabeth Gall. Wait, is Ariana Grande not have a Twitter no more? Why is okay?
constantly talking about people's feet and toes. This toe belongs to one of the stars on one of my shows. Whose toe is this? To which he later tweeted, "The toe belongs to the sweet and hilariously talented Miss Jeanette McCurdy. Sam and Cat tomorrow. Right on the bottom of your foot, take a pic and use hashtag Sam and Cat.
This was
Saturday.
crazy.
We will retweet and follow.
Nigga, get this out of here.
Get sore. I also found this extremely old Pepsi commercial Dan starred in the late 80s, which potentially features an innuendo with the lotion shot splattering on the guy's chest. Then the focus of the entire commercial being on his feet not wanting to touch the sand because it's hot. And of course, there's females in the background in their bikinis. Dan was unaware of the digital renaissance aiming to take him down, and he was
No, it's a digital Rico. That's what that nigga got hit with. That nigga got hit with a digital Rico.
as reckless as ever. iCarly was officially over, and Victorious was scheduled to end a few months later. Schneider decided to hit two birds with one stone and make a dual spin-off for both shows.
Yes.
He took a fan favorite from iCarly in Sam Puckett and a fan favorite from Victorious in Cat Valentine, and created a teen sitcom titled Sam and Cat. The premise of the show revolved around the unlikely friendship of Sam and Cat, who meet and become roommates in Los Angeles while starting their own babysitting business to make ends meet, which is basically the same plot as his failed primetime sitcom from the 90s. The pilot debuted on Nickelodeon to 4.2 million viewers and was surprisingly popular despite being a spin-off that was clearly inferior to its original shows. However, Sam and Cat only lasted one season and was canceled following controversy behind the scenes. Firstly, Jeanette McCurdy posted this strange Vine.
Hey Dan Schneider, I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Vine. Look what you've done to me.
Considering she would speak out against him 10 years later, we now know this was not our imagination. He was really making her crazy. In her 2022 memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, McCurdy detailed her childhood and how her mother, Deborah, forced her to become a child actor. Schneider was also mentioned in the memoir solely as the creator, who McCurdy claimed created an unsafe work environment, frequently subjecting the cast and crew to emotional abuse. When Jeanette turned 18 and iCarly was coming to an end, the creator allegedly dangled the opportunity for Jeanette to have her own spin-off. She wrote that the creator took her out to dinner, where he encouraged her to try alcohol for the first time and gave her a shoulder massage. The creator is doing that thing that I've heard from my co-stars he does with every new star of a show that he's making. He takes you under his wing. You're his favorite. Additionally, there was a feud between Ariana and Jeanette brewing behind the scenes. On Jeanette's podcast, there was a feud between Ariana and Jeanette brewing behind the scenes.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at it, yeah, they don't look too comfortable.
On Jeanette's podcast, she discussed her time on Sam and Cat, revealing that she was jealous of Ariana Grande because executives allowed her the opportunity to pursue other business ventures while restricting McCurdy's career advancement. Every time something exciting happens to her, I feel like she robbed me of having that experience myself. And every time someone calls me a good sport, all I feel is how much I don't want to be one. Ariana misses work in pursuit of her music career while I act with a box. I'm pissed about it, and I'm pissed at her, jealous of her. In case you're wondering, one episode of Sam and Cat was based around Cat getting trapped in a box, and Sam spent the whole episode trying to get her out. The writers had to come up with an episode without her because Ariana was busy with her music career and couldn't film. This show getting canceled after one very successful season was likely due to this feud, but I'm sure Dan's behavior towards Jeanette and Ariana made it easy for them to sever ties with Nickelodeon. This basically marks the end of Dan's dominance at the network. He was recognized for his 20 years of work at Nickelodeon with their very first Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014. For the few online that were aware of the rumors surrounding Dan, this award rubbed them the wrong way. Slowly in 2014 and after, we saw more media coverage pointing out inappropriate moments in his shows. But again, the masses, the general public, had no idea what he was doing. And for a few years, people stopped talking about him online, until 2017, when the Harvey Weinstein Me Too movement shook industry predators to their core, and Dan tried to make it out unscathed. In October of 2017, investigative reports by the New York Times...
I actually know who Harvey Weinstein is. I've heard that name so many times. I truly don't even know what, like, he is, what he did. Sure, it was sexual assault or something, but I need to tap in. I need to tap in with that.
Decades of sexual harassment, assault, and misconduct allegations against film producer Harvey Weinstein. This prompted bloggers who knew about Dan's history to discuss him once again. More blind items from the Crazy Days and Nights blog emerged, like this one that suggests Dan, the producer, was sleeping with cast members. A producer who has been featured on this site from almost the very beginning. When she landed the part, the producer never mentioned anything about sleeping with her. All but one of them were underage. She suspected that because she was legal for almost the entire run of the show, that he was just not that into her. At some point, he did try and sleep with her and she turned him down. That rejection cost her a bunch of scene reductions. Meanwhile, the producer found someone else to sleep with who was also legal but loved to roleplay super young. She was getting the good lines and scenes.
Oh. Wait. If he talks about this is about Ariana and Jeanette, oh my God. Because Ariana, I think she is a little bit older, but I mean, I don't know how her age, but she does play like a more underage person. And Jeanette doesn't seem the type of person to sleep with someone like that. She doesn't fuck with people. And she seemed that type of person.
She was being offered crossover opportunities and new shows were being developed for her. And again, this could just be people spreading lies, but now the pressure was on, and Nickelodeon, Dan Schneider, they could feel the heat. Websites like The Revenge of the Sis became fully dedicated to exposing the creepy nature
of the Sis.
The
What's that mean?
Nickelodeon network. Coincidentally, as the pressure was at an all-time high, Nickelodeon cut ties with Dan Schneider in March of 2018 and paid him the $7 million still owed on his contract. They claim this separation was a natural next step and they are proud of the work he did for Nickelodeon. Deadline Hollywood reported that there had been complaints about Schneider's alleged behavior, including his well-documented temper issues for years. Following reports that Nickelodeon and Schneider parted ways, Dan's Twitter account went quiet. He only rarely made public appearances. He also tried to erase everything on his blog, but we still got that. Nickelodeon Studios even released its reboot of iCarly for the Paramount Plus streaming platform without Schneider. From Dan's exit in 2018 until today, YouTubers, bloggers, previous cast members, and media outlets greatly contributed to informing the public about Dan's ways. Perhaps the most detailed and detrimental article was the 2022 Business Insider Deep Dive, which interviewed 15 of Dan's former co-workers, some of which spoke horrible things and others defended his character. Dan cared about the kids on his shows even when sometimes their own families unfortunately did not. Russell Hicks, Nickelodeon's former president of content and production, wrote, "He was the shoulder they cried on when something happened to them. He understood what they were going through." Schneider drew hours away from writing scripts and instead spent time mingling with the stars on his shows, taking them out to dinner and inviting them to his house for holiday parties. It became so frequent that some of Schneider's colleagues questioned the amount of time he spent interacting with young actors.
Yeah, it's
While
weird,
Dan
buddy.
focused on being accepted by the children on his shows, several writers and crew members claimed Schneider created an uncomfortable, bizarre environment, regularly demanding 14-plus hour days and expected writers and crew members to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. More disturbing was Schneider's behavior towards female crew members, reportedly hugging them for extended periods as a joke, making people uncomfortable. Schneider also requested massages from adult female colleagues during his tenure at the network, according to several Nickelodeon staffers. Kerry Mellon, who worked as a costumer on Schneider's shows for 14 years, said Schneider received weekly massages from a third member of the costume team. They also claimed that Schneider would ask the women to give him a massage by reaching under his shirt. Despite claims that he fostered a hostile work environment, Schneider
He's so
shows and
fat.
Nickelodeon were
Ooh, I would have
greenlighted
bullied
because of
him.
his influence within the company. On-set employees rarely pushed back against Schneider. Another writer said, "Because you just didn't cross Dan. He was a really scary presence." However, it took all the way until the Quiet on Set documentary before Dan ever responded to any of these allegations. But during this 20-minute interview, he basically only admits to being mean to his writers.
I would snap at people sometimes. I would be snarky when I could have.
That nigga's lips is pink as shit. God damn.
I would not give people the
Such
time
an
of
odd,
day. I would
you
tell
know.
them to hurry to get on to the next
He
thing.
lost a lot of weight. Honestly, he's still a fat
Watching that
bitch.
show, it made me. There were so many times I wanted to pick up a phone and call some of those.
Maybe a
people
little
and say,
bit.
"I'm
I don't
so
know.
sorry,
He's
I'm
still a
really
little
sorry
fat.
about it." And
Damn, nigga, what the fuck you got on your kicks? Oh, he got some. I thought this nigga was barefoot. I thought this nigga was barefoot for a second. I nearly lost my mind. I said, damn, nigga, you putting crack in front of a crackhead right now. I thought this nigga was barefoot. Oh my God.
some of those people and say,
I
"I'm
was
so
like,
sorry and
there's
I'm
no
so
way.
about it, and I wish you'd had a better time, and I wish I could have shown you a better experience."
The rest of this conversation was him deflecting blame. He said that his inappropriate jokes were approved by the executives at Nickelodeon that were above him, and they didn't think the jokes were inappropriate at the time. But he
Nigga,
also
shut
said
up.
that since people are upset about those jokes, then he's okay with erasing them, which makes people wonder, are they inappropriate or not? He claims he had no knowledge of any sexual assault that any of his previous cast members experienced, but he did admit to demanding massages.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed did, who also may have felt uncomfortable. So I owe them an apology as well.
Yeah.
You 100%.
Did, who also may have felt uncomfortable.
Look at this nigga's face.
So I owe them an apology as well.
He says, okay, buddy. Yeah, that's a okay, buddy face.
He 100% wholeheartedly admitted that he forced people to touch him, which is interesting because it becomes very difficult to believe that he would stop there. Perhaps the craziest part about this video is that there's still so much more that I could cover. Some people's entire YouTube channels are dedicated to bringing Dan's dark secrets to light, but I do want to leave off with this message. Just
I put them in
that
there.
It's easy to
Talk
think
about
that
it.
this is all just entertainment because, well, these allegations feature some of our favorite child stars. Remember that they were real victims that had to suffer. People have gotten so wrapped up and excited about this expose that they're now blaming innocent people for being complicit in these alleged crimes. For example, Zoe 101 star Matthew Underwood was getting death threats for not speaking out against Dan Schneider. So to prove to these people that he is innocent, he voiced 2 different times where he was sexually assaulted as a minor. So now, after hearing many of the allegations, the rumors, the
And you know what? I hate that shit so much because people were like, why hasn't he talked about this? He must be a part. Like, niggas be like so locked in. It's like, why are you attacking him? First of all, let's get rid of this one person because we spreading our resources to people who may be victims, may be suspects. Let's get the actual person we know who is a demon. Like, get him. We know that this nigga is evil. This nigga is a terrible human being. And they attack people online with no evidence, just off the strength that they haven't said anything. They must be guilty. And I hate that shit about Twitter. I hate that shit about any type of online like media, but it's mainly Twitter because Twitter really be running this shit. That shit be so fucking annoying. Niggas really make you guilty until proven innocent. And even if you're innocent, there'll still be people who think you're guilty. People who will fucking harass you and do death threats, all that. It's so fucking stupid. It's so annoying. I don't understand that. That should be pissing me the fuck off. And you give those people like a reasonable response. Like, you give them an actual like fast, and then they just like, it's just like, I don't know if they're bots. I don't know if they're like I don't know. I feel like some people don't care about the response. They care about their reality. Some people don't care about anything. They just want, like, it's like, not they want what they want to. It's not like, I don't even know what I'm saying, bro. It's not like what they want to be real is gonna be real or whatever. It's like, you're a bot. Chill. No, it's like they know it's not real. Okay, it's a better way. They know it's not real, but they're dying on that hill. Ooh, that's hard. That's what it is. It's like they're dying on that hill. Like, they don't care. You can give them facts. You can give them documented facts. They can be like, oh, where the documents at? Get them documented facts. They don't give a fuck. They're gonna die on that fucking hill. They're gonna 10 toes down. I can respect it a little bit, but honestly, you need to be shot. I'm playing.
Testimonies, the convictions, the confessions surrounding Dan Schneider's time on Nickelodeon. Is it all just a coincidence, a conspiracy, or a calculated crime conglomerate?
Diddy Files. Whoa. Diddy Files. Whoa. What did